All right, guys, it's that time of the week again. It is Russell Wilson Wednesday. And once again, we have to make one of these videos where Wilson is coming off a not very good game. I don't think he played bad against the Bears, but he certainly played bad enough. And in a game that came down to the wire like that, with the Bears winning by 1 point, where the game came down to the final minute, every throw matters. So this was not as bad as his game against the Rams, I don't think. This was not as bad as his game against the Packers or maybe Washington. But for the most part, I've seen him play a lot better than that. I know he can play a lot better than that. And it was another log to the fire of wondering if the Russell Wilson prime is coming to a close. Field Goals did an article a month ago positing that Wilson's prime is over, and this is another game that's going to make people buy into that. And I tend to believe it's probably the case as well. But regardless, we're not here to talk about just is Wilson good or Wilson bad. We're talking about how he's playing. And at this point, that narrative has already kind of been written. There are only 2 games left. He's played, I know he missed 3.5 games, but he's done more than enough to pretty cleanly hammer home what his overall advanced metrics are going to look like. But let's go ahead and go through it. We got to do it. We got to talk about it. Leading off with the air yards, and they went down. They went down from 10 to 9.9. So if you take that ridiculous bomb on the first play of the third quarter by Wilson into double coverage, it probably would have gone down to like 9.8 or 9.7. That was a big chunk of the air yards. Really wish you could have taken that play back. I feel like if he makes a better decision, or if he makes a better decision on that play, we probably win that game. Honestly, if he throws the ball away, doesn't put it in a spot where it can easily be picked off, it doesn't change the game at all because the pass falls incomplete either way. But I would have come out of that game feeling a little bit better about where we were with him. So that was a play that really kind of hammers home some of the stuff that he seems to be struggling with. Now, there were some good things in that game. Some of the passes to Everett I thought were great. And you can see that reflected in his air yards per pass completion, which I believe went down by 0.2, yes. And yards after the catch per pass completion actually went up by 0.1. So some marginal improvement at this point in the season. That's pretty much all you're going to get, but not amazing. Accuracy-wise, pretty much the norm. He had 6 bad throws against the Bears. His bad throw percentage stayed the same, 18%. The bad throws that he made, you had the one to Metcalf on 3rd and 4, where he just overthrew a wide open Metcalf for an easy first down, probably more. Crushing miss. I honestly think that one ends the game if he hits it, because if Metcalf catches that, he's at least getting into field goal range. He might take it to the house for all we know. He's Metcalf. He does things like that. So that was a big one. He had, I think, 20 on-target throws. Yes, 20 on-target throws. His on-target throw percentage, about the same. Again, I'll say this. Given the fact that his air yards have gone way up, it's kind of amazing that his accuracy has stayed about the same, even though we know he's dealing with that finger issue. So props to him on that. But my thing is, the passes that he's completing, by and large, are the shorter passes. Like, if you look back at 2018, where he was averaging 9 air yards per attempt and 7.4 yards per pass completion, that's insane how close those two numbers are. But in this year, the yards per pass attempt have gone way up, and per pass completion, they've gone way down. That tells me that the passes he's actually hitting are the shorter passes. So it's just weird to me that he wouldn't stick to that. I know that obviously the temptation to go for the big play sometimes is tough to overcome, but it's one of the many frustrating things about this season. As for his protection so far this year, pocket time 2.4, so it's a tiny bit down from the last 3 years. Not by a lot, but honestly, zero point 0.1 and zero point 0.2 seconds in the NFL is kind of a big deal. So he is having less pocket time than he's typically used to. Part of that is because the pocket is collapsing a little quicker. However, if you take a look at his pressure rate, or the amount he's getting pressured, it's actually a little lower than it's been. He's been sacked 31 times, which he missed 3.5 games, but that's going to put him roughly in line, maybe even a little behind where he had been on pace the previous 3 seasons. He's been hurried 42 times, which is a step in the right direction. He's been hit 34 times, which is a lot less than he had in the previous 2 years. And overall, his pressured percentage is a little below where it's been over the previous 3 years. So there is some stuff here to kind of like, but it's hard to know exactly what the genesis of that is. Is it the offensive line or is it Wilson? Really hard for us to navigate that. Finally, he had 1 scramble against the Bears, and he had, I believe, 4 play action attempts. And this is, I've been going after Wilson quite a bit lately, I admit that, because I just don't think he's playing as well as he has played in the past. I don't think he's playing as well as he can. I don't think he's playing as well as he should, but I'm going to have a little bit of a bone to pick with the play calling here. We have 7 play actions over the last 2 weeks. We should be having 10 a game, not 7 over a 2-week span. And if Wilson is changing the plays at the line every time, then tell him to stop doing that. But we know he's not doing that on every play, so we need some more play action. We have plenty of evidence that says it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you are as an NFL team, it doesn't matter who your running back is, doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Play action is good. You should be running play action constantly. And having 4 play actions against the Bears and 3 the previous week against the Rams, I don't like that. That's something where I'm going to look at the play calling and go, what the hell's going on? We had a lot of play action in our 2 wins against Houston and San Fran. So bring it back, please. But other than that, mostly more the same, maybe some marginal improvements here or there. At the end of the day, though, if you take a look at some of this stuff, you just see some things that disappoint you a little bit, I think. The air yards being this high up is bizarre, should not happen. The fact that he's not getting pressured as much as he has in recent years, I think disarms some of the narrative around the pass blocking being so bad. According to this, there's pretty good reason to believe that it's, if anything, a little bit better than it's been in previous years. So, I don't know. Obviously, this season, you'd love to flush it. You would really like to flush it, right? Because Wilson got hurt. We had to play 3.5 games with Geno. There was some discord on the offensive line. We had a lot of Kyle Fuller. And any amount of Kyle Fuller is too much Kyle Fuller. We had some issues, but we can't just flush it. We got to work with the evidence that we have. And the evidence that we have says that Wilson is better suited for a particular kind of offense, and our attempts to put him in a different kind of offense that we feel like would work better in the modern NFL, at least for this year, it didn't go that well. And obviously, we're going to have to make a judgment call this offseason on whether or not to keep him based off some of this evidence, and I'm not loving what I'm seeing. But some good stuff here regardless. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I will see you guys later today. Peace out. Go Hawks.